Welcome to Life Through a Dram, where Danny Brown shares his take on life, being a better person, and appreciating the here and now, all accompanied by a dram and a fine single malt whiskey. And now, here's your host, Danny Brown.
Okay, so hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Life Through a Dram. This is the first proper one in 2019, and as I mentioned in the trailer I posted the other night, it's going to be a little bit of a different format this time round. Still going to be talking about life in general, being better people, but this time you don't just have to listen to my dulcet tones. I'll be having guests throughout the show, so I'm looking forward to introducing you to some new people and hearing their story. And first up, it's someone I've known for a while, never met properly. It's one of our online friends. It's Kat, was it Kat Krieger?
It is, Kat Krieger.
I wasn't sure. I was thinking it's I before the E, so it has to be Cree. But then I think if it's wrong, I have to get that right. So hi Kat, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. We've got snow, proper snow for the first time this winter, so it's nice and pretty outside. My son's waiting to go sledding later. How about yourself?
It's good. They've been threatening a snowstorm here in New York, but I think it's just going to rain all night. So it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that sucks. Because I think where we are in Burlington, we get some of your weather front. We're in the Golden Horseshoe of Ontario. Mm-hmm. So I think we get, I think New York and Chicago are the two US cities that hit us. So if you've got rain, please keep it there because we've got really nice snow at the minute.
I'll do my best.
Now, you'd mentioned, as in my want, also it's Life Through a Dram. And I know you don't drink scotch, but you'd mentioned you might be bringing some wine for yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, I do have some wine.
Awesome. What have you got?
Goodness, now I need to go look at the bottle.
Okay, so is it a red or a white?
It is a red. I have a Beaujolais.
Oh, I haven't had one of these for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I've got a little Talisker single malt, so I cheers you to good health.
Yes, cheers.
So you'd mentioned as we were doing the before coming on, you just got a bit of brunch. Is that something you do each weekend? You catch up with friends and stuff, or?
I have been trying to do that more, for sure. Yes.
I always imagine brunch, and I'm being really stereotypical here, I apologize, but I always imagine brunch in New York like something out of the, Sex and the City, when the friends get together and they're having some cocktails and, hardly ever eat, but it's always, nice, good fun.
Yes.
Is it anything like that, or is yours more?
Well, this was a little more low-key. It was just with one friend. But there were Bloody Marys involved, so
awesome. That's a drink I've never tried actually. My sister drinks it. Yeah, I've never had a Bloody Mary. I have to try that because my sister drinks it and a couple of friends, and they're always talking about how good it is.
Yes, I mean if you can get a good one, actually, I make an amazing Bloody Mary.
All right.
I would share the recipe, but then I'd have to kill the entire audience. So,
It's not going to be shared then.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I ever come back out New York, we'll have to make sure to come and try that.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're into the middle of January now. Do you make any resolutions at all with New Year's, or do you not bother with that?
I guess I've had a lot of life changes lately, and so it's really the continuation of a resolution more than something that started in January.
Right, and you'd mentioned that as well, that you've gone through like personal life changes as well as in your professional life.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, professionally, I guess switched industries like a little over a year ago, and I'm in the non-alcoholic beverage space and marketing coffee.
Yeah, no, that's Joyride, correct?
Yes,
Joyride.
yes.
So that looks pretty cool. Because I saw the Facebook page, and I was immediately attracted to it because obviously I'm a craft beer lover, and I saw the taps, and then I realized, it's not craft beer, it's craft coffee, which is interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So we have our own like Joyride brand, cold brew, and nitro as well. We have 4 cold brew teas that we make, and then we have partners all over. So we are actually brewing. They send us their beans and we do the brewing. And I sit above the warehouse in Queens and smell that cold brew just wafting up the stairs. Yeah.
Which is why you need to get out and have the Bloody Marys then, I guess.
I need to balance it out.
Yeah, but it looks a really cool business idea because you provide you provide a coffee to businesses on site, correct?
Yeah, definitely. So we manufacture and distribute, and primarily to offices, but somewhat to wholesale as well. What makes Joyride super unique is that, as far as we are aware, we are the only beverage manufacturer and distributor in the world that is bottleless. So we don't have any single serve or single use containers in our supply chain at all. And since on the cold side, we only use kegs, we know that every keg we sell and distribute saves about 80 bottles from use.
Oh, wow.
And now have saved just under 18 million bottles. And half of that was just in 2018. So
that's crazy. And this is just the US currently. Have you got plans to expand or?
I think expanding further in the US. Yeah. So we have offices in New York, Boston, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, and then also work with some additional distributors and outside markets, but just in the States.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to, because I mean, Sam, my friend Sam Fiorella, he's Italian, so big coffee lover. And he was out in New York actually last week. He goes there quite often. We've got one of our clients is over New York. So I'll have to make sure. Now, do you have coffee at your premises as well? It's not just supplying businesses.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yep.
Yes. I can have unlimited cold brew and actually kombucha on tap. So, and there's hot coffee as well. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll mention it to Sam and make sure he stops by next time he's over.
Yeah, we were trying to actually connect this time, but the schedules were just too crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially at the moment with the the shutdown, it's really difficult to get in and out and get your time schedule sorted. Now, you also mentioned that obviously you've gone through some personal changes. What's happened in your, like, if you look at on Facebook, you know how they did that 10 years. This is my face 10 years ago. This is my face now. So what's happened, Kat, in the last 10 years or sooner?
Well, I think I look better now than I did 10 years ago, but I did not share a photo.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess the biggest life change in really the last quarter is that I separated from my husband and now have my own place. And we are co-parenting our 2 girls, and life has just been a whole new adventure. But for me, I constantly think about, what, like, raising 2 girls in today's world and like what it means when, they see their parents go through big changes and how that needs to be communicated. And definitely something that I spend a lot of time talking about and thinking about. And go ahead.
No. So I was just going to ask, how old are your girls? Are they fairly young still, or?
They're 10 and 7, so they're people,
Yeah. And they understand, obviously. So it sounds like your ex-husband and yourself have done this fairly amicably, and obviously with the girls' best interest at heart.
Yes,
front
definitely.
and center. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there's a concerted effort to, it's like, why dive into like the bad stuff when we want to move forward and like have a united front for the girls.
Right. And I know it's always strange when people break up. I mean, I've been married, my wife and I, we've been married 12 years now. And you obviously you never think that you're going to break up, but it's one of these things, I guess, when kids are involved. Okay, what do we do now? And how did you come, to sort of decide or agree or the best way forward? Was that like one of these hard conversations you had to have, or?
Yeah. I mean, I think it had been coming, but ultimately, it was the best decision for us. But as I thought about what that was going to look um, like I ended up moving versus him moving, so they still are part time in the same house or same apartment they've basically been since they were born. Which is definitely rare in New York City. Um, but I found a place that's a 15-minute walk away, um, and you know, we're now in a place where if it's his turn with the girls, but like there's an errand or something, like I'm close enough, and vice versa. So we're kind of each other's first call if we need. Um, help out with the girls and, just try to keep things really amicable and, in a time that can be really difficult.
Oh yeah, and as I mentioned, we've got two young kids. They're similar to your age. They're
Yeah.
9 and 7. So our son's nine
Yeah.
and 7. And yeah, it's try to think of how you would approach that. It's definitely as you say, if you can both come from a friendly place, it makes it. I'd imagine it makes all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, just like thinking about, I'll also just like making a really concerted effort to listen to the girls, and sometimes like that's the most I can do, is just kind of let them process their feelings as well.
Right.
Because it's a big adjustment for them. And they've also transitioned from being homeschooled to going to public school.
Oh wow.
Um,
Was that all?
yeah.
Was
So,
that all last year as well, or?
yeah. And 2 months ago, a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you really did make some big changes there.
Yes. Yes.
So how are the girls finding that then? Because that must have been a big, like you said, another big transition for them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we found a really great school that's kind of halfway in between our apartments, and um, their 7-year-old had wanted to go to school, and so we knew that was going to happen, and she's super excited about it and really loving it. The 10-year-old is like, I don't know, I had this great life where I could see my friends all day, I could
Yeah,
have sleepovers any night of the week. What is this? Yeah, but yeah, they're doing all right. They're doing all right.
that's good. Now, and you'd mentioned obviously you've got two girls, and raising them, as co-parents, but also raising them in with such changes with the Me Too movement and women, having more empowerment. How are you? Are you approaching that? Are you, how do you approach raising two girls in New York?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me, I mean, honestly, in more areas than just being a parent, is just to be as open and communicative as I can. And of course, they have questions about like what's going on in the world politically, or, you know, um, for like I remember when I went to the first women's march and we talked about that, and like they have been brought up in an environment, and I suppose it's easy here in New York that there are marches,
Right.
um, and things that you can participate in, but um, you know I mean both, their dad and myself have just tried to be really open and honest, or if there's a big news story or some kind of violence that happens, is we are neither of us are people who just don't talk about it to our kids. um, I think kids process things in different ways, and it's really important to just tell them the truth.
Yeah.
um, you know um, but as a mom and wanting to be a role model for them, um, I've now shared the story like a few times over the last few weeks, but of course, like your parents separate. It's like a big traumatic thing, and I remember the moment where my oldest one like said, "I hate you. I can't believe like why you're doing this." Like and of course, like my heart is just like, oh, what
Yeah.
did and I thought about it and I took a deep breath and I was just like, you know what? Like, I love you. I love you so much, like more than you could ever possibly know. And I would do almost anything for you. but the one thing I won't do is stay in an unhappy marriage.
Yeah.
And for me, in that moment and talking about it since, like, it doesn't mean that like these huge life transitions of whatever they are or whatever sort they are aren't hard, but I want them to be able to walk away with a lesson that you have to self-care and put yourself first, because if you're happy, then everyone around you is happy. And I know that, having made a really incredibly tough decision, like I'm now going to be a better mom. And I want them to walk away like having had that lesson. And that's kind of, I don't know, how I think about things in general.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, and that's great advice. I mean, the self-care is so important. Our son suffers from anxiety, and his mother does, so she knows how to help him more. She can explain in words and emotions that he'll understand that I could never hope to, unfortunately. But yeah, like you mentioned, it's just constant reassurance that we might screw up, we might do things that we didn't want to happen or whatever, but it doesn't change the way we feel about our kids, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like acknowledging too, like, we're all these flawed people, and we make mistakes, and and my kids are very vocal.
Right.
I don't know where they get it from. It's really a mystery. But, I mean, they're the first ones to call me out on something, right? If I like go back or, say something or do something that I said I wasn't going to do, or, and I just own it. It's like, you know what? You're right. I did do that. Like, or I did say that and I shouldn't have. And I think, I don't know, like for me, that's just been important too, is to just not try to deny or, pretend that like things are fine or things are perfect. I think it's important that my kids like see me struggle. And sort of take that as a lesson, and maybe it's not something that will really resonate now, but it's something that will resonate for them later.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I think, like you mentioned, leading from example and showing that it's okay to not be okay, or it's okay to understand that life isn't always going to be a Disney movie, for example. That helps raise really good people, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my oldest daughter thinks that she lives in a musical. However,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, I think it is important, and I suppose anyone that's going through a divorce has had this or had other things. It's just like pretty much good, but like every once in a while, like I fall apart, and I think it's important for them to see that, and know that, it's okay to be vulnerable and be raw, and, just cry if you need to. And, on the flip side, crack up if you need to, and just, show them that, life is not simple, but, I don't know. I feel like it's really important to be vulnerable, whether it's, even if it's professionally. It's just like, I don't know everything. I'm going to make mistakes. And to just acknowledge it and, do better next time.
No, and that's perfect. I think that's a great way to close this week's show. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I could sit here for the next 2-3 hours just chatting away. Yeah, so as I mentioned at the start, it's like my first one with a guest, so it's been an enjoyable experience. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you online?
Honestly, I'm probably the most active on Instagram,
Okay.
and the most responsive. And it's Kat S. Krieger. So K-A-T, S as in Sam, Krieger.
Perfect. And what I'll drop
Yeah.
I'll drop that in the show notes to make sure they can link
Yeah.
to you as well. So what have you got on for the
Yeah,
rest of the day?
Well, my girls are going to come over, and we're probably going to veg a little together, and I'm sure they will be playing Roblox pretty soon and forgetting that I exist. But yeah.
That's awesome. My kid's playing, my son's playing Xbox at the moment, and the daughter's
Yeah.
at a birthday party, so I hear you on that. All right, well, thanks a lot, Kat, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much, Danny.
No, for sure. So that's been another episode of Life Through a Dram, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and really hope you get a lot of takeaways from Kat's advice and her own, what she's gone through personally and professionally. There's some fantastic, thoughts from Kat. So we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, Slanchivar.
This has been Life Through a Dram. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode.